There are certain men who don't just attract women, they make women crave them on a level that feels almost addictive. It's not about looks, money, or even status. It's about something far deeper, something rooted in psychology. These men know how to tap into primal triggers that bypass logic and hit a woman's emotional core. They create a pull so strong that she finds herself thinking about them even when she doesn't want to. It's the reason some women chase a man despite knowing he's not perfect on paper. Because when psychology takes over, rational thinking goes out the window. And the truth is, most men have no idea how these triggers actually work. That's why some guys get friend zoned while others become the unforgettable obsession. If you've ever wanted to know why women can't get enough of certain men, you're about to find out. Here are 7 psychological triggers that make women sexually addicted to men. Once you understand them, you'll never see attraction the same way again. 1. The power of emotional imprint. When it comes to sexual addiction, most men mistakenly think it starts in the body, but in reality, it begins in the mind. The very first psychological trigger that makes a woman hooked is what I call the emotional imprint. This isn't about buying gifts, showering her with compliments, or chasing her endlessly. Number. This is about making her feel something so deeply that her brain begins to link you with intensity, excitement, and unforgettable emotions. Women are not addicted to men, they're addicted to the feelings those men create inside them. If you can tap into this, she'll replay your presence in her head like her favorite song on repeat. Think about it. The human brain is wired to crave strong emotional spikes. Adrenaline, dopamine, desire, all of these chemicals are what create obsession. A woman becomes addicted to the man who can consistently trigger those emotions, not the one who plays it safe and predictable. That's why nice guys often lose to men who know how to stir curiosity, tension, and even a little bit of mystery. If she can predict everything about you, she gets bored. But if she feels butterflies in her stomach, if she feels unsure about what might happen next, if her heart races when she sees your name pop up, congratulations, you've created an imprint. What most men don't understand is that this has very little to do with looks or money. It's about energy, presence, and timing. For example, when you know how to pull back your attention just enough, you create space for her to wonder about you. That wondering becomes craving. That craving becomes obsession. And before she realizes it, her brain has formed a loop where you are the source of her emotional highs. She'll want to text you, call you, meet you, not because she decided to, but because her subconscious has already linked you with excitement she doesn't want to lose. So, the first psychological trigger is clear. Make her feel. Don't be just another guy she meets. Be the man who leaves fingerprints on her emotions. Because once a woman associates you with intensity, passion, and thrill, she won't just want you, she'll need you. 2. The magnetic pull of uncertainty. If there's one psychological trigger that keeps a woman awake at night, it's uncertainty. Most men think women only want stability and reassurance. Sure, those things matter later. But when it comes to creating raw attraction and sexual obsession, uncertainty is the spark that lights the fire. Why? Because the female mind thrives on curiosity. When she can't fully figure you out, her imagination takes over, and trust me, her imagination will make you 10 times more exciting than reality ever could. Think about the movies and books women are drawn to, the mysterious hero, the unpredictable bad boy, the man whose next move she just can't guess. That unpredictability makes her heart race, not because she's scared, but because uncertainty equals possibility. Possibility of excitement, possibility of passion, possibility of danger. And when you embody that kind of uncertainty, not by being flaky, but by being a man who doesn't reveal all of himself at once, you become the puzzle she wants to solve. Now, here's where most guys go wrong. They overshare, over-explain, and over-pursue. They think the more transparent they are, the safer she'll feel, and the more she'll want them. But what actually happens? She feels no mystery, no chase, no reason to wonder about him. And when there's no wondering, there's no craving. Attraction isn't built on handing her the full story. It's built on giving her just enough to make her want more. Like a cliffhanger at the end of a great TV episode, you leave her with questions. You leave her intrigued. You leave her thinking, what's next? This doesn't mean playing childish games. It means living a life so full and self directed that she doesn't get constant access to your every thought, every plan, every move. When she doesn't know if you'll call at 7 or 9, when she wonders why you're so confident around everyone, when she realizes you don't drop everything for her, suddenly she's investing mental energy into you. And the more she thinks about you, the stronger the addiction becomes. So, the second psychological trigger is uncertainty. Keep her guessing, not about your loyalty or respect, but about your depth, your layers, your essence. Because when a woman can't fully predict you, she won't be able to stop chasing you. And that chase is where addiction is born. 3. The irresistible power of challenge. One of the most dangerous mistakes men make is being too easy. When a woman knows she has you wrapped around her finger from the start, the thrill disappears instantly. Attraction thrives on challenge. Women are biologically and psychologically wired to value what they must work for. If she doesn't have to earn your attention, your respect, or your affection, it loses its value. But when she feels like she's winning you over little by little, when she senses that not every man gets access to your world, her desire for you multiplies. You're no longer just a man. Suddenly, you're the prize. Think about it like this. Humans always want what feels scarce, rare, and exclusive. Why do luxury items carry so much appeal? Not because they're objectively better, but because not everyone can have them. The same principle applies in attraction. A man who is selective, who doesn't hand over validation to every woman, becomes infinitely more desirable. She wants to be the exception. She wants to be the one who broke through your walls when others couldn't. That challenge sparks competitiveness, excitement, and sexual urgency. Now, most guys misunderstand this concept. They think being a challenge means being rude, arrogant, or playing hard to get in a fake way. Wrong. Real challenge comes from genuine standards. It's in how you carry yourself, how you don't tolerate disrespect, how you know what you want in life and won't compromise it just to keep her happy. A woman respects a man who isn't desperate for approval because deep down, she knows that if she earns his affection, it truly means something. The beauty of challenge is that it flips the dynamic. Instead of you chasing her, she begins chasing you. She invests more energy, she puts in more effort, and she feels more emotionally attached because she had to earn her place in your life. And the more effort she invests, the more addicted she becomes. Psychology calls this the investment principle. The harder she works for something, the more valuable it becomes in her mind. So the third psychological trigger is clear. Don't hand yourself over too easily. Be the man who sets the bar high, the man who makes her earn her spot by your side. Because when a woman feels she's chasing, winning, and fighting for you, her attraction doesn't just grow, it turns into obsession. 4. The allure of masculine presence. If there's one thing that flips a woman's attraction switch faster than anything else, it's a man's presence. Not just his looks, not just his words, but the energy he carries when he walks into a room. Masculine presence is the psychological trigger that makes her body react before her mind can even process why. It's the calm confidence, the steady eye contact, the grounded body language that screams, I'm in control of myself and my world. When a man radiates presence, women feel it instinctively, like an invisible pull they can't ignore. Presence is powerful because it taps into something primal. Women are hardwired to seek security, not in the sense of money or material things, but in emotional and physical dominance. A man who is grounded, who doesn't fidget nervously, who listens with intent instead of rushing to speak. This is the man who commands attention without trying. He doesn't have to boast, brag, or beg. His presence speaks louder than words, and it creates a sexual tension that lingers in the air. The opposite of presence is distraction. And this is where most men fail. They're glued to their phones, they can't maintain eye contact, their energy feels scattered. That lack of presence communicates weakness. It tells her you can't even control yourself, let alone lead her into deeper experiences. On the other hand, when you're fully present, every woman around you feels it. Your words carry more weight. Your touch feels more intentional. Even your silence becomes magnetic. Here's the secret. Presence is less about what you do and more about what you don't do. You don't chase validation. You don't rush to fill every pause with meaningless chatter. You don't seek her approval. Instead, You embody patience, certainty, and control. And when a woman senses that, her attraction bypasses logic and dives straight into the subconscious. She doesn't just want you, she feels safe, excited, and curious around you. So, the fourth psychological trigger is masculine presence. Cultivate it through stillness, confidence, and awareness. Because when you're the man who carries himself with unshakable energy, you don't need to convince a woman to desire you. She'll feel it the moment you walk in, and that feeling will stay with her long after you're gone. That's the kind of addiction she can't fight. 5. The thrill of emotional roller coasters. If you really want to understand what makes a woman addicted, you need to realize this. She craves emotional highs and lows. Not chaos, not drama for the sake of drama, but the experience of feeling alive. Most men play it too safe. They think being steady and predictable is the best way to keep a woman interested. But here's the truth. A flat line on a heart monitor doesn't mean stability. It means death. And in relationships, a flat emotional experience equals boredom. What keeps her hooked is the emotional roller coaster you take her on. Think about the stories women are obsessed with. The novels, the shows, the movies. They all involve twists, tension, release, excitement, and surprise. It's not a straight, boring line. It's waves of emotions, peaks and valleys. That same dynamic applies in real life. If every interaction with you is perfectly smooth, perfectly expected, perfectly nice, she won't feel the spark. But if one moment you're making her laugh until her stomach hurts, and the next you're giving her that intense, silent eye contact that makes her blush, suddenly her body can't help but crave more of you. This is where many men misunderstand. They think creating emotional highs and lows means playing manipulative games, ignoring her for days, acting hot and cold, or stirring unnecessary fights. That's not it. The real roller coaster is created by contrast. Contrast between light and dark, fun and serious, playful and dominant. When you know how to shift gears smoothly, you create depth. She never knows exactly what's coming, but she knows it's going to make her feel. And that feeling is what she becomes addicted to. There's also science behind this. Dopamine, the chemical of desire, isn't released when things are guaranteed. It's released in moments of unpredictability. When she doesn't know if the next moment will bring laughter, tension, or passion, her brain floods with dopamine. Over time, her subconscious links you as the source of that thrill. That's why she checks her phone waiting for your message, why she replays your conversations in her head, why she feels restless when you're not around. So, the fifth psychological trigger is the emotional roller coaster. Don't be flat. Don't be predictable. Be the man who makes her feel a spectrum of emotions. Because once you do, she won't just want you in her life. She'll crave the ride only you can give her. Give. 6. The power of sexual tension. If there's one force that can make a woman addicted faster than anything else, it's sexual tension. Not sex itself, tension. That charged energy that builds up between two people before anything physical even happens. It's the lingering glance, the brush of your hand against hers, the way your eyes lock just a little longer than necessary. Sexual tension is psychological warfare. It ignites her imagination, makes her body anticipate, and keeps her hooked on what might happen next. Most men blow it too quickly. They rush. They can't handle the silence, the heat, the slow buildup. They think the goal is to get to the physical as fast as possible. But women don't get addicted to the act. They get addicted to the anticipation. When you know how to draw out that energy, when you're comfortable letting tension hang in the air, you become intoxicating. She'll replay those moments in her mind, filling in the blanks with her own fantasies. And often, her imagination is far more powerful than anything you could do in reality. Think of it like a fire. If you dump gasoline all at once, it burns out fast. But if you feed it slowly, carefully, with just the right amount of fuel, it grows into a roaring flame that's impossible to put out. That's what sexual tension does. It keeps her in a heightened state of desire, not just when she's with you, but even when you're not around. She'll be lying in bed at night, remembering how close your lips were to hers, how strong your presence felt, how electric the air was. That memory alone becomes addictive. The secret to mastering this is confidence and patience. Confidence to hold your ground, to not fidget nervously or break eye contact, and patience to let the tension breathe instead of rushing to resolve it. The longer you can hold that energy, the more powerful it becomes. She'll feel her heartbeat quicken, her breath get shallow, her body betraying her mind. And the best part? She'll want more, over and over again. So, the sixth psychological trigger is sexual tension. Don't kill it by being too fast, too eager, or too obvious. Learn to let the heat build, to let the silence speak louder than words, because once you master this art, she won't just be attracted to you, she'll be addicted to the very thought of you. 7. The depth of emotional safety. The final and perhaps most overlooked trigger that makes a woman truly addicted is emotional safety. Now, before you mistake this for being soft, clingy, or overly agreeable, understand this. Safety doesn't mean weakness, it means strength. It means being the man who creates a space where she can let down her guard, where she can express her desires, her fears, and her wildest sides without judgment. When a woman feels emotionally safe with you, she will bond with you on a level that goes far beyond physical attraction. And once that bond is created, it becomes almost impossible for her to break free. Think about it. The world constantly tells women to guard themselves, to protect their hearts, to avoid being vulnerable. Most men never get past her surface because she doesn't trust them enough to show what's underneath. But when she meets a man who is strong enough to hold her emotions without flinching, confident enough not to be shaken by her storms, and masculine enough to provide stability, she relaxes into him. And when she relaxes, her attraction deepens into something that borders on obsession. Because now she doesn't just want you, she feels she needs you. Here's the catch. Emotional safety isn't about always agreeing with her or giving her everything she wants. In fact, it's the opposite. It's about being firm in your boundaries, clear in your intentions, and steady in your energy. It's about showing her that no matter what chaos she brings, you remain unshaken. That steadiness creates trust. And trust, combined with sexual attraction, creates addiction. When a woman knows she can reveal her truest self to you, her playful side, her passionate side, even her broken side, and you still hold her with strength, she feels a connection most men will never inspire. That's why she'll text you first. That's why she'll think about you, even in a crowded room. That's why she'll struggle to replace you, even if she tries. Because you've given her something rare, the freedom to be fully herself without fear. So, the seventh psychological trigger is emotional safety. Become the man who provides stability without losing your edge. Be strong enough to lead, but grounded enough to listen. Because when a woman finds both excitement and safety in you, she won't just want you, she'll be addicted to you in a way that defies logic. Now you understand why some men leave women obsessing long after they're gone, while others barely register in memory. It's not luck, and it's not random. It's psychology. These 7 triggers work together like pieces of a lock. And when you align them, you unlock a level of attraction that borders on addiction. The emotional imprint plants the seed, uncertainty waters it with curiosity, and the challenge forces her to chase what feels rare. Then your masculine presence anchors it all, while the emotional roller coaster keeps her coming back for more. Add sexual tension to spark her imagination, and finally, emotional safety to seal the bond. The result? A craving so deep she can't turn it off even if she wants to. Most men will never understand this. They'll keep chasing with gifts, begging for attention, or trying to impress with superficial things. And while they're stuck wondering why women slip away, the man who knows these triggers will have her hooked without ever needing to try too hard. That's the difference between being just another guy and being the man she compares everyone else to. But here's the truth. These triggers are not about manipulation. They're not cheap tricks. They're about embodying a way of being that naturally makes you irresistible. Women don't get addicted to men who try too hard. They get addicted to men who are. Men who radiate depth, mystery, strength, and control. Men who understand that attraction isn't logical, it's emotional, primal, and deeply subconscious. So the choice is yours. You can continue being predictable, safe, and forgettable. Or you can step into the role of the man who knows how to pull the right psychological levers. When you do, you won't just attract women, you'll captivate them. You'll live rent-free in their minds. You'll feel their energy shift when you walk in the room, and you'll never have to chase because they'll be the ones chasing you. Remember, women don't get addicted to the man himself, They get addicted to the experience of being with him. Become the experience, master the triggers, and watch as women don't just want you, they crave you.